Politics is Aristotle's mature investigation into the nature of political community, the aims of collective life, and the kinds of regimes under which human beings can best flourish. Written as a continuation and practical companion to the Nicomachean Ethics, the work begins from a simple but far-reaching claim. Human beings are by nature political animals. We do not merely live side by side for convenience or security. Rather, we are naturally oriented toward life in a polis, city-state, where speech, law, and shared deliberation make possible a fully human life. Politics, for Aristotle, is therefore not about power for its own sake, but about ordering communal life so that virtue and flourishing, eudaimonia, can be achieved. Aristotle opens by tracing the natural origins of the city. He argues that political communities grow organically from smaller associations, the household formed for daily needs, the village formed for more than mere survival, and finally the city, which exists for the sake of living well. Because the city is the completion of these earlier forms, it is prior by nature to the individual, not in time, but in purpose. Outside the city, a human being is either a beast or a god, lacking the moral and rational context that makes virtue possible. Speech, logos, which allows humans to deliberate about justice and the good, is what distinguishes political life from mere herd existence. Aristotle then examines property, wealth, and economic life, rejecting the idea that the pursuit of wealth is the ultimate goal of political association. He criticizes forms of acquisition that treat money as an end in itself, arguing instead that material goods are instruments meant to support virtuous activity. Against Plato's proposal in the Republic that property and families be held in common among the ruling class, Aristotle defends private property combined with communal use, insisting that ownership encourages responsibility and generosity, while shared enjoyment fosters civic friendship. The heart of politics lies in Aristotle's systematic analysis of constitutions. He classifies regimes according to two criteria: who rules, one, few, or many, and whether they rule for the common good or for private advantage. The correct forms of government, kingship, aristocracy, and polity, aim at the common good, while their corrupt counterparts, tyranny, oligarchy, and democracy, in its extreme form, serve the interests of rulers alone. Unlike Plato, Aristotle does not search for a single ideal regime applicable everywhere. Instead, he emphasizes practical wisdom, arguing that the best constitution depends on circumstances, character, and social conditions. Among all regimes, Aristotle gives special attention to polity, a mixed constitution combining elements of oligarchy and democracy. He argues that stability and justice are best preserved when political power rests with a strong middle class, neither extremely rich nor extremely poor. Such citizens are more likely to obey reason, avoid factional conflict, and pursue moderation. Extremes of wealth and poverty, by contrast, breed resentment, arrogance, and instability, making revolutions more likely. Aristotle devotes significant attention to the causes of political change and revolution, offering a sober, almost scientific account of why regimes rise and fall. Injustice, whether real or perceived, is the most common source of unrest, especially when groups believe they are excluded from honor or power they deserve. He analyzes how different regimes decay according to their internal logic and provides practical advice for preserving constitutions, even flawed ones. This section reveals Aristotle not as a utopian thinker, but as a keen observer of political psychology and historical reality. In the final books, Aristotle returns to the question of education, which he considers the decisive factor in political life. Laws alone cannot sustain a good regime unless citizens are formed in virtue from an early age. Education must be public, common, and tailored to the constitution of the city, cultivating habits of moderation, courage, and practical reason. Music, physical training, and intellectual formation all play essential roles in shaping citizens who can rule and be ruled in turn. Politics, Aristotle concludes, ultimately rests on moral formation. The health of the city depends on the character of its people. Taken as a whole, politics presents a vision of political life grounded in realism, moderation, and ethical purpose. Aristotle rejects both cynical power politics and abstract idealism, offering instead a framework in which law, education, and shared deliberation aim at the highest human good. The city exists not merely to keep people alive, but to make a good life possible, and politics, at its best, is the art of cultivating that shared flourishing.